This is Intoxicated Literature.
Hello, and welcome to Intoxicated Literature. I'm Evelyn Crow.
And I'm Daniella Drake.
How exciting we're doing video this time.
It's so exciting. It's weird. It feels weird.
It feels a little weird.
But I like it. I think this is working for us, you know?
Is it?
We've got the virtual backgrounds because our respective homes are not video friendly.
Oh no, it's so not video friendly. These are my actual books though.
Yes, mine too. These are my actual... I own all of these books.
Yeah.
It's just that they're in a different place.
These are rotated.
Yeah.
I have one bookshelf.
You own way more books than I do. I'm proud and jealous of your collection. To be honest.
I have gone to book signings. So a lot of these are signed. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, but yeah, these are just rotated out, and then and then mine. We are intoxicated.
We are intoxicated. So if you have not listened to Intoxicated Literature before, we literally drink and talk about books because that's what we like.
And so
today
we should do spoiler warning.
Oh yeah, I know. I was gonna say what book it is first,
Okay,
and then we can
yeah.
do spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what we right.
I don't know. Sure. Today we're talking about Burn For Me, which is actually one of my favorite books of all time. So
This is by Ilona Andrews, who, fun fact, is a writing duo of a husband and wife team, which I love. I think that's adorable. It's Ilona and Andrew Gordon. Love it.
I love
think
it.
It's so cute.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yes, spoilers ahead. We will ruin the entire book and maybe more of the series, because sometimes we forget.
Again, intoxicated.
There's no filter. So.
And I've read the entire series, so I don't know. I mean, I know what's not in this book when it refers to, like, her sisters, but I don't know what is her arc in this book.
Yeah,
necessarily.
I'll help you, because I just reread it because I had to refresh myself.
I did look at it. I do notes. I do, see? I do prepare.
No, I know. I just literally finished it 2 days ago because I was like, I don't remember. I don't remember.
But it is really good.
Yes. So, spoilers. We also swear like sailors. So, if you don't like swearing, this is probably not the space for you. What else? Sexy times?
Not so much in this one.
Not really, huh?
It's very, very, very slow burn. Like, such a slow burn that it's, like, over books.
It doesn't happen in this first one. So, yes, what are we drinking? Because...
It's a Mage's something.
Mage's Fire, which is appropriate for this book.
Exceptionally appropriate for this book, actually.
It's just unfortunate that it is so...
Gross.
So, listen... When I found the recipe, I got super excited because it was literally called Mage's Fire, and it's purple, and it looks so awesome.
It does look really awesome. It probably we were talking about it, and first of all, she sent me the recipe, and it said it needed to age for 30 days, and it's straight hard alcohol, and I'm like, what? It's already
when
aged.
I read it, my brain literally read it as 30 minutes because I was like, that's insane.
I'm like, it's already aged. It's hard liquor. There's no reason why it would need to be aged for 30 days. It's 30. What is this? Polyjuice potion? What's going on? Are we making it under the full moon? What's happening? We're not witches. We don't need to do that. And
that would have been fun.
It would have been, yes, but it's not that. So we don't need to do that. And
no. And
Daniella was immediately like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's cinnamon schnapps, which is really intense.
It's basically liquefied Red Hots.
That is exactly what it tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and looks like
not pleasant. It doesn't look like Red Hots. It's purple.
No, the cinnamon schnapps.
Oh, the cinnamon schnapps. No, yeah, this tastes like liquid Red Hots though.
Yeah,
it tastes like burning.
There's vodka. There's blue curacao, however you say that.
Curacao?
Curacao. Sal. There is an accent on there.
Yes.
Curacao. And cinnamon schnapps, which is hard to say when you're intoxicated.
It really is. And man, I mean, to be fair though, it does say that this is supposed to be a shot, which makes sense because it's all alcohol.
Yeah.
But also I feel misled by the recipe because the guy said that it tastes really good and it should be sipped, or it could be.
He
sipped.
also said it tasted like orange and cinnamon.
Orange. What is he talking about?
No fucking orange in here.
No, it tastes like burning.
And I think it should have been. I think you're right. I think it should have been 1 to 1 to 1 instead of 1 to 1 to 2.
I absolutely agree. It's 2 parts cinnamon schnapps to 1 part vodka, 1 part blue curacao.
There's too much cinnamon.
And honestly, it's too much cinnamon. And, like, we only let it age 24 hours.
Age? What fucking bullshit is that? And there's supposed to be some sort of magical coloration happening?
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. He's full of shit. Like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm not listening to him about anything else.
I'm sorry, stranger on the internet. This is not happening.
No, it's not good. It's not good. So this is it's
as a shot, yes.
Yes.
As a sipper,
I think as a shot,
no.
yeah. So yeah,
sorry.
It was a miss. That was
it
unfortunate.
does get me intoxicated.
Yeah.
So there is a
when
pro.
I first made it, I literally texted you and
Mhm.
said, "This is going to fuck me up."
Yes.
Because it's just all alcohol.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah. So we're ready to record now that we're drinking this. It's gonna be awesome. So, let's get into it!
Alright, so, burn for me, Ilona Andrews. So, I don't know if we like urban fantasy. I don't know if you know this about us. If you have listened to any of our other podcasts, we like urban fantasy. It's one of our favorites. And this is urban fantasy all the way with romance.
I love Ilona Andrews, like all her series, all their series, I should say.
100%. Absolutely. This is different from Magic Bites. Now, Magic Bites gets a lot of, like, hate for being really slow. This,
really?
Yeah. If you read the reviews.
I love that series, though.
I know. I adore it. But if you read the reviews, everyone's like, oh, it's so slow. Blah, blah. But it's the first book in a series. It's a lot of world building.
Right.
This book, however, is not slow.
No.
It just goes right into it. And I love it because a lot of Ilona's, so she has, or they have, I say Ilona Andrews and say she because the name sounds feminine.
I know. I get it. I do the same thing.
They have, they're 2 major series, and both of them have a female main character kind of on their own. And this series stands out because it's not. There's a family, a very solid family unit.
I love this family unit because it reminds me of our family.
Oh my god, there's so many women!
Well, it's so many women, but it's also like something happens and Nevada's in trouble and everyone drops everything and like converges on the house.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what our family would do. Drop everything and converge on the house.
It's
like
so
we
true.
there would be no hesitation. We wouldn't even think about it. Be like, where am I? 50 miles away? Doesn't matter.
And everyone plays
up.
to their strengths, and everyone just knows what they're supposed to do. Everyone has a role, and that's exactly how it would play. It's so true.
Loved it. I loved that there's such a support network for her.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of the time, in urban fantasy especially,
Yeah.
like outside of Ilona Andrews even, like that's kind of the way it is, where it's like just this kind of like badass female main character who's just out there on her own.
I know. It's so true.
So it's so nice to see a support system in place.
Yes. And with a parent still alive. And not only a parent, a grandparent.
Yes! I love that there's... And she's a badass!
I know!
Working on tanks and shit.
Like, she's a mech mage.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the world building in this series.
So it's interesting because it's a play on aristocracy, but with magic.
Yes, I was gonna say it feels very... Because it's set in Houston, where you have all these different, like, magical houses kind of vying for power. It feels very, like, feudal... medieval Europe.
Yeah.
Like the setup feels very much like that, where they're all vying for power constantly, but also like trying to take care of like the little people.
Yeah. It really is like that. It's so true. Absolutely.
Yeah, but she does it so well. They do it so well.
I know. It's just gonna be us correcting from she.
I know! God damn it.
It's absolutely true. And
yeah.
It takes place in Houston, so every one of their series takes place in the South. We got Atlanta, we got Houston, and I think the Sweep series is also in Texas. I want to say in Houston or Dallas or like one of those places.
I thought it was in a smaller. Was it not in a smaller area? It's been a long time since I read it, so I probably.
It's on the.
Wrong.
It might be, but it's
it's
definitely a smaller town, but like on the outskirts of one of those major cities. I think. I can't remember now.
I know, it's been too long. I love that series.
It's a good series.
It's more of a cozy kind of
it is
vibe.
I like that one. But so the the South is kind of their, like, comfort zone, I can tell. Which is fine. It's fine.
Sure, yeah.
So you have Nevada. Great name.
Great name.
Love it.
Actually, all the names in this I thought were really good.
I love it. So you have Nevada, and she has sisters, Arabella and Caitlin. And
Catalina.
Catalina? I saw it just now. I wrote it down.
Who's Caitlin?
I don't know. But part of the fun is reading my own notes. So, Catalina. And then you have Penelope, who's her mom, who is a vet and a sharpshooter. So that's her mage power, is she can sharpshoot. And she is also disabled. Then we have cousins who were adopted into the family for various reasons. We have Bernard and Leon, and their powers come out later. And Leon is like crazy.
Yes, I love Leon, actually.
Leon is fabulous, but when his powers come out, everyone kind of freaks out, and it's really funny.
Yeah. It's so true. And then, so Nevada, her dad has passed away. And so that's why it's mostly the women kind of in charge. And she's taken over his business. She's a PI.
And it's unfortunate because their dad had cancer. Yeah. And as we know, in today's lifestyle, when you have a long-term illness like that, the medical bills are insane.
Astronomical.
So they had to mortgage their business to a bigger business. And so this bigger business owns them, essentially. And part of the contract that they made, and I don't think their dad knew about this. I think they made this behind their dad's back, because he would never have countenanced this. He would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Is they just have to do what this business tells them, or they can.
Which hasn't been a problem up till now, because they've just kind of been ignoring them. They're like, "You're too small to even deal with," right?
Because Nevada's power is just kind of like she can tell the truth.
They don't even know that she has powers.
Oh, that's true. They're really on the DL.
She's kept it secret because her form of magic is so rare.
Yeah.
That it's really in demand. So if they found out that she had these powers, they'd be like, "Great, now you're working for us. Like, we own you, essentially." And she's like, "Can't let that happen."
They're on the down low. And so they've just kind of been like, "You're useless. Why would we even bother?" Sure. Okay. Well, enter Mad Rogan.
Well, no, Adam Pierce starts it.
I guess that's true. Oh, God. Adam,
yeah.
He's such an ass.
He's such an ass. So this is, like, having reread this book, like, he is just the most, like, entitled, rich, bored man.
Every time they go and talk to one of these, like, aristocracy houses, like, every time they go into one of them, anytime they go and talk to one of them, I'm always just like, oh.
Absolutely 100%. Like, they're just gross. And he is like a fire mage. Like, he is a prime, which is the highest ranking you can possibly be. So he's super powerful, and he's just wreaking havoc on this town.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not, it's a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that. As a prime, you're supposed to protect the city, right?
Well, because that's what, they teach the aristocracy. You're supposed to look out after the peons.
Exactly.
You're better than everyone, and you're supposed to protect everyone. That's
exactly
your job. And so they, you're supposed to marry other primes to make other primes, and you're supposed to take care of all of the little peons who are running around without magic. That's your job.
Yep. That's your job.
Ugh, sorry.
No, that's fair. Oh. That's a fair reason.
It's just so gross. And so he's running around just going amok because, gee, I wonder what happens when you give a guy who's had privilege his entire life just insane power.
Yeah. It's bad. It's real bad.
Just complete and unstoppable power.
Yep. And I love it because Augustine Montgomery, who's at the House Montgomery and owns this giant private investigation firm, which happens to own the Baylor investigation firm, is like, I don't want to put my people on this because they're all gonna die and they're gonna fail, and I don't want to, waste the resources. So, Baylor, you're up.
Sorry. I'm calling in your debt.
And he doesn't even pretend. Like, she knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly what's going on. it's very much out in the open. Like, there's no secret that he's doing it because he doesn't want to lose his resources, essentially, which, gross. And this is where Mad Rogan comes in.
Now, I do believe there was some mistaken identity in this book, correct?
Was there mistaken identity?
I can't remember.
I mean, he kidnaps her.
That's true. He does torture her.
He tortures her because he thinks that she's, like, Adam Pearce's, like, I don't even know, like, side piece, I guess.
You know more than you think you're letting on, and she...
Or, like, yeah.
And it's so funny because this was one of the, usually Ilona Andrews isn't quite so obvious and into tropes as this, but this is one of those cases where the female main character stands up to the male main character, and it's the first time this has ever happened in his life, and he's like, that's really hot.
Yes.
I really like that.
And listen, I actually like the way that this played out because, like, there's a reason that he's called Mad Rogan. He's, like, the ultimate prime. Like, he is more powerful than anyone has any right to be. He's a billionaire. He's, like, ridiculously masculine and attractive. Like, it's kind of disgusting how attractive he is. And, like, she's just, like, looking at him going, I don't have time for this bullshit. Like, my family is in danger. Like, I don't care who you are.
For real. She's like, I have a job to do, and you're wasting my time.
Exactly.
And he's literally like,
figure it out.
What's happening right now?
Yep. Which is so funny. I love it the entire book, because she's very afraid of him. Like,
oh, yeah.
And should be.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also constantly going, you need to stop. Like, what is wrong with you? You need to calm down. I need you to not do that.
This is not okay.
Exactly. And that's like their whole relationship. This entire book is just like her going, can you not?
Seriously.
Like,
it's amazing.
It's so good.
And then him going, I really like being put in my place by this person.
And just like randomly at one point he's just like, we should have sex. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, we just barely survived this horrible event.
No,
like, what are you talking
there's
about?
There's this whole like heat building, and him leaning into it, and her going, no. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. And him going, don't care.
Exactly.
Must fuck right now.
Exactly. And he's also got that, like, tactile, what is it called? I should have written it down on my notes, but I didn't.
Can, like,
he's like
do things to her without touching her.
He's like a tactile telepath.
Yeah.
So he can make her feel things.
Yeah.
Without actually touching
Which would
her.
freak me the fuck out.
I know. She's talking about how hot it is, and I'm sitting there going, I don't think I would like that.
It would freak me the fuck out. If I'm across the room, and then something happened to me without anyone being near me would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah. I feel like it's... Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I mean,
Yeah.
No.
No thanks.
No thank you.
Mm-mm.
I tried to get behind that. I really did. But...
I know. I don't... Yeah, I don't...
I mean, maybe it's a play on, like, the vibrators that you can, like, put in and have, like, but there's still a physical thing that someone's in control of.
Yeah, well, he's in control of it. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it just feels like there's a lack of consent issue. Maybe that's it.
That's fair, except that there were multiple times where he asked.
That's true. I don't know.
Consent is a big deal.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know if I would like it or not.
think I would have to try it.
It sounds hot. Like, when you're reading it, you're kind of like, well, maybe.
I know.
So,
I think it's something you would have to experience. And
yeah,
since no one has this power, you can't really experience that. So
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know. But I will say that, like, the world building in this and the characters, and especially Nevada, I feel like they're like, everyone is complex, everyone is interesting, everyone is dynamic. I loved Mad Mardigan.
Mad Mardigan? We're going all the way back to Willow now. I mean, I give you points because Mad Mardigan is hot as fuck, so. Go Val Kilmer.
I cannot believe that and I said Mad Mardigan. That's so embarrassing.
You pulled that all the way out from some fucking memory.
Because when I think, like, I've never known any other character that's, like, called Mad anything.
Maybe
so, like,
that's what they were thinking of when they wrote it. We don't know. Oh my god, Daniela, that is hilarious. Mad Mardigan.
I meant Mad Rogan.
Uh-huh.
I don't even remember what point I had, to be honest, because Mad Mardigan is now, like, in my brain. Listen, I had the hots for Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan, so
I think Mad Mardigan unlocked something in a lot of us in our childhood.
Right? I'm just saying. Like, I'm not upset about it.
He wore a dress, and he was, the non-toxic masculinity that a lot of us were looking for.
100%.
So
100%. Yes. Anyway.
Yes.
Mad Rogan. I don't remember what point I was going to
I don't know either,
honestly.
but this was
it's
amazing.
Gone. God damn it. Okay, let's talk about Mad Rogan for a minute though, because
oh my god.
he is a billionaire, but he spent time in the army fighting because there was like this whole thing where Mexico invades Belize because they wanted more power and they had to be stopped, right?
Okay, but this brings to questions. Did they have to be stopped? This is like,
well, so this is the thing. Like, having reread it, because I went in thinking, I remember this being a thing, and I don't know. But there was it was like a balance issue, right? Because Mexico already has so much power, like so much magical power, I guess, in this universe. And so they invaded this tiny little country, Belize, and everyone was like, we don't want you also having all of their power because you're already overpowered and we need to protect our interests, right? I'm not saying necessarily that it was correct. I'm just saying that that's what the book said.
okay.
So, feeling patriotic and being 19 years old.
Right. As
Mad
you do.
Rogan, yeah, enlists. Plus, I think he was trying to stick it to his family a little bit because he did not like his parents at all.
Oh, no, you don't join the army.
Yeah.
Because when you're in, a magical aristocracy person. Because you don't need to.
Exactly. So he was trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. So he has this name where he's like the Hurricane, right? He just wreaks havoc and destruction, and it's just chaos. And I don't think that he particularly enjoys it. He knows that that's who he is, and he's accepted that's who he is. But it's not necessarily something he's proud of.
Everyone thinks he's proud of it.
Right, because he doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't really have close friends.
Mm-hmm.
But what he does do, and this is where it's important, because all throughout the book, like, you are making assumptions. It's kind of like Pride and Prejudice,
mm-hmm.
where you're like, this guy is one way, and then, like, later you find out, oh, it's something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's gathering veterans who are hard on luck, and they are, like, at their wits' end, and he's like, you can come work for me, I will buy off your debts, like you're gonna be solvent again.
Right.
But I need you to do exactly what I say, and this is how it's gonna be. And it's just like, he is trying to give them a second chance.
Yeah.
Right? And so you start to kind of look at him and go, oh, you're not what I thought you were.
Yeah.
Like, but even in this book, Nevada's, like, questioning his motivation, because it's like, now you own these people.
Yeah.
Like, now, of course they'll do whatever you want because you own them. But there's a loyalty to it where it's like, this person saved us, he's my hero.
Yeah, because she's coming from a place where someone owns her. So she's bringing her own prejudices and her own biases into this. Because someone's owning her and pushing her into this investigation. So she's bringing her own biases into this. So you have to read it and go, okay, but wait.
Exactly.
So.
And that's kind of what happens. Like, as you start to get to the end of the book, you're like, hold on a second. Like, this is not playing out the way I thought it was going to at all.
Exactly.
Right? And, like, you learn, too, like, she accuses him of, like, not trying to support his family or whatever. And at the very end, you learn that he did try. Like, he was trying to pay for his little cousin's, college. And his mom was like, no, fuck off. I don't want anything from you.
The more you learn about his family.
Because she hates him, apparently. Where'd that come from?
Well, he joined the army.
I don't know. Like, she's, like, because it's, like, part of this, like, overarching conspiracy, right? And she's fully invested. And you don't find that out until the end, obviously, and, like, the rest of the series deals with it. But, like, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, why? What? Who are you? Like, why do you care? Very strange.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But I really liked Mad. I almost said it again. Oh my god.
I think you really did like Mad Mardigan.
I really like Mad Mardigan. That is one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
Willow is a
fabulous movie. And we should just, like, talk about it one day.
We should. Why not? It's a book.
It is. I read it. All right. So, is this book romantasy?
I would say this book is urban fantasy with romance.
They don't get together.
No.
There is heat and there's, like, you know, kind of lust, but there isn't, like, a lot of, they do not get together.
No, and even in the subsequent books, like, I think it becomes more romantasy as the series progresses, but in this book specifically, if you're looking for romance, you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen in this book.
No. And I think it's not until book 3.
I thought that it was...
Well, maybe book 2.
I feel like it's, like, halfway through book 2.
Yeah, book 2 they finally get together, and I think book 3 is, like, the culmination
I think
of
so,
the
too.
happy ever after.
Yeah.
But it
I
takes
think that's how
a while.
Yes, it does.
For that to happen. So, and which is fine. You know, as long as there is one, then it counts as a romance. But, so I think it's definitely like it's a 3-book arc, for sure. And, but this book, no.
No,
This
it's
book
not.
alone
But it's
is not.
still, like, I would say, because, and I know that I've said this before, but because fantasy, the first book is always devoted to world building.
Mm-hmm.
And they do such a good job with the world building in this book that I think that by the time you get to the end, you're like, okay, I'm ready now to, like, be in it, and, like, I understand what's happening, I understand who the players are, like, now we can move on to the romance because I know everything that's going on. Because you can't, like, a lot of the time when you have these fantasy books, like, you need that understanding before you can really get fully invested, I think. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of any other urban fantasy series that really just jumps right into romance in the first book, and I'm not sure I can think of one.
Urban fantasy, no.
Yeah, I'm saying urban fantasy specifically because
Yeah.
I know that, like, romantasy and, like, epic fantasy and, like, the fantasy genre is a little bit different than urban fantasy specifically.
So, specifically, romantasy itself, you have paranormal fantasy, which is like, boom.
Yes.
Urban fantasy takes a while. Fantasy, epic fantasy can take a while.
Takes even longer.
Yeah. I think just, like, the paranormal fantasy is the only one that really just kind of jumps into it.
I think so, too.
Omegaverse jumps into it.
I'm thinking, like, Nalini Singh, like, that kind of thing, like, where you just, you know exactly what you're getting, right? You're jumping into it, and it's about but this is the thing, too, is, like, I don't think that they necessarily started this as a romance series, like, at first, because this book doesn't feel like that.
I think this book coming after Magic Bites, and even, I think it's, like, concurrent with the Sweep series, which they did a lot of with their newsletter, falls right in with the surge of popularity of romantasy.
I think so, too.
And they were like, we got a right to market, and people are really wanting more romance in their fantasy. Which isn't bad.
No,
and
that's
they're
not
good
to say
writers.
that they don't do a good job, because they absolutely do.
Yes.
It just doesn't, I feel like this book in particular does not have that same vibe.
Right. No, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they started a series that feels very much like Magic Bites, Part 2, with different characters, and then kind of turned a corner in a good way. This is not a bad thing. I really like this series because it is different from Magic Bites.
No, I absolutely agree. I thought it was a great series. I've read the whole thing.
Yeah. And I do like that there are more characters to choose from, and that it doesn't just follow the same one throughout.
No, I absolutely agree. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gives a different point of view. You don't have the same one the entire time. And you find out all their powers.
Yeah, you do.
Which is awesome.
It's so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I think that when this series started, that it was not necessarily intended to go the direction it went, but I'm not upset about where it went. I think they did a great job. Like, I love this series. I've recommended it to multiple people. Like, I think that it's really, really fun.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and part of that is just because their world building is so good. Like, it's fascinating to me that they've come up with the rankings of the magical people. They've got the different types of magic. Like, you've got the elementals, you've got the mental magic, like telepathy, and like,
God, there's so many.
So many. And then you've got like the arcane, because nobody knows, like, even the people that have it don't really understand it, right?
There's so many.
So
I actually
many.
went and looked. Like, there's a wiki.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at all the different kinds, and I'm just like, okay, that's too many to even list on my notes. I'm like, I don't even want to do that. Like, there's so many.
Yep.
And so they definitely did a lot of thinking and put a lot of thought into this. Now, contrary to popular belief, neither one of them were intelligence officers. If you ask people, they will always say, "Oh, they were in the CIA." Look, CIA officers are not going to go around telling people they were CIA officers.
No. If you're at a bar and some guy is telling you that he's a CIA operative, no, he's not.
No, he's not. I'm sorry.
Just
like,
sorry.
There's a whole like meme about like, you know, like it's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Don't believe somebody if they come up to you and be like, "Oh, I'm like in the CIA." Like, no, he's not, sweetie. Don't go home with him.
No, he is a liar.
So yeah, no, they didn't. But one of them was in the army, so they at least have, you know, knowledge of guns and how to fight, and, you know, they've been trained, so they have that.
And I do feel that comes across. Like, you read it and you're like, wow, they actually do know what they're talking about.
For sure.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Sure. I don't know anything about guns, really, despite our grandfather's best efforts. Like, I know nothing.
No. And I've shot one.
Yeah,
and I'm still like,
he took us to the gun range, and I don't know.
You point something.
Yep. And it goes boom. It's loud.
It's loud. I don't want to do it again. Thank you.
Exactly. That is about what I remember as well. So, yeah. But because Nevada's mom is a sharpshooter, like, she can shoot very well, even though she's never really had to. So it's impressive, her aim, and Mad Rogan is like, damn! I did like the way that they handled the overarching, like, conspiracy of it all, because it feels very much like Adam Pearce is the problem.
Like, for real.
And then suddenly you start going, wait, he's way too impulsive, like, he's not going to be thinking things through, like, he just wants to burn shit. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, like, his whole identity. And then he's, like, stealing stuff? And why? Like, what is he doing? And it's not until the very end that you start to go, oh shit, this is going to be a problem. Like, there are way more people involved.
You don't even realize that there's another problem until, like, the last quarter.
Yeah, it's like the very end. Yeah.
And you start going, wait.
Yeah. I mean, they do kind of sow the seeds, right? They do start to say, like, Adam's not smart enough for this. Like, Adam doesn't have the patience for this. Someone's controlling Adam. Like, they do plant the seeds, but it's not until the end.
You're like,
yeah,
okay, but
right, yeah, and it's not until the end that you start to feel that it is much bigger than even they, thought, right? Yeah, which was great because it made me want to read the whole series.
Oh God,
so
I devoured the series.
Yes, I read it so fast. I thought it was
so good. And then the last book wasn't out yet, and I'm like, motherfucker.
I think I read this series right as the last book was coming out. So I
had to wait like a month and a half, and I'm like, why?
I really enjoyed this book, this whole series. Like, Ilona Andrews is one of my favorite authors. Like, if I see that there's a new series, I'm like, gonna read it.
Insta buy.
Yep, 100%.
Insta buy.
Love it. love it. Her Magic Bite series got me started on Ilona Andrews, and I've never looked back. So, I think I've hit the end of my notes.
I have as well. So I think we need to talk about what we are reading next. Holy crap, this drink.
So next time we're going to do something a little bit different because it's our 1-year anniversary.
We're going a little crazy, you guys.
We're going to read a couple of novellas. The first being Her Pastry Shifters by Mia Harlan.
We're going to see some interesting English usage, and it's actually one of my favorite phrases that has been created in the English language, and I've used it just in, like, ironically since then. So.
And then we're also going to talk about Unhinged by Vera Valentine, which, yeah.
It's one of my favorites, actually. She's one of my favorite authors. She's really fun. I like her.
It is very fun, and I will have a lot of puns, so I'm looking forward to that.
So many puns.
So join us for our 1-year anniversary next time. Woo! Can't wait to see you. I am Daniella Drake.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Intoxicated Literature. Drink well, friends.
And I'm Evelyn Crow.